Vi optager lige det her.
So we're a little bit behind the schedule, and I think maybe we can be done by 5:15 with the two talks, the closing on. And then at 1800 we have the social, where actually the eating starts at 1800 as far as I know, or the food is ready at 1800.
Yes.
And it's at the Theaterkeller, and some people will know the way.
We will show a map on the computer.
You will show, yes, oh great. So there's this thing called Google, and you can type in the address, and it's great. Or you can just walk across the street, but you have to take care. There's a Waterloo bar.
Yeah, turn right at the Waterloo.
Turn right at the Waterloo. Sorry. Okay. From TC.
Okay, this is the first time I'm talking into a microphone. 2 days ago, at about lunchtime, I was called by my boss, and he said, "Michael, can you say something about Cisco Meraki and the Fuller Ang?" I said, "Yes, maybe." And now I'm standing here. I've been told, I've not actually seen it myself, but I've been told that there have been some problems with the connectivity. So what we have observed is that we have 4 access points mounted in here, and we have one down at the reception. 4 Meraki access points. Sorry, now I'm getting nervous. Just getting over that. And one of them, I think it's one of them actually don't now have no connectivity due to something with cabling in the house, or maybe our own cabling. But so we have switched that off. Actually, we were trying to do wireless meshing so that clients connected to that one still would get connectivity, because the traffic was sent to another access point, and it was acting like a repeater. But so we have switched it off because that turned out not to be so good for performance. And we also have a second one, which is actually negotiating between 100 and 1 gig. So there have been some problems. But as you can see, I'm a sales guy, so actually I'm no longer part of this, the whole technical stuff. And I'm from the net design part of TDC Erhverv, which is part of TDC Group. I've actually met some of my colleagues today. It's TDC. The actual people making the ISP is at a totally different company. But anyway, so I have become a sales guy, and but I used to be a technical person for about 20 years. This is some old photographs from the time when I was teaching Cisco courses, just so that you people should know that maybe I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So this was actually the one I used for new courses in no time, and I tried to update it a little. So Cisco Meraki. So, I have chosen to talk about what I think Cisco Meraki is. And I have heard people say, well, Cisco Meraki is a new wireless solution. That's not how I see it. As I see it, it's a control plane solution in the cloud. And it's a control plane for switches, access points, and firewalls for smaller companies. So what you do is you take your browser and you go to some server in the Meraki cloud, and then you manage your network from there. And if we are trying to sell Cisco Meraki, you would nowadays say, well, there's 3 talking points. You would talk retail because of what we would see on the next slide, that for all the stuff with the CMX, consumer mobile experience, and we would talk hospitality, you know, hotels and the health departments, hospitals and stuff like that, where we have lots of users coming and going, and where you may be able to present those users with some services based on what device they're coming with and what they're doing and stuff like that. And the third one is ease of management for IT departments, which is that this is basically very easy to roll out. I don't know how many are reading Computer World or stuff like that, where they talk about some kommuner, how's that said in English? Municipalities have rolled this out and to 400, 500, 600 institutions, and then they can see what people are doing and have a good overview of the management. So it's basically a control plane solution in the cloud, which means that all the data traffic is switched locally. I think maybe if someone has been doing wireless for the past 4, 5, 6 years, we have all learned about wireless controllers and taking all the traffic from the access points and switching it into the wireless controller and then back out if it wants to go to the local printer, for instance. But not here. All traffic is switched locally on the devices. And the devices also, the access points and the switches and the firewalls have a great amount of intelligence in what it does locally. So why are Meraki kind of important? Well, I think that what we're seeing is that it becomes more and more this CMX experience, they call it today. I found some that it was also called Hotspot 2.0, and we are talking about Bluetooth Low Energy, which it enables our networks to see what is going on and to present customers with certain kind of services and solutions. And I'm pretty sure that Meraki will be great at this. And I was actually going to show you, because we have seen what it has been going on for today, but I'm only logged in as a wireless user, so I can only see the wireless access point, and I have not, I don't have access to all the features that you can actually do with Meraki today. So the one that says about organization, branding, and mobile device management, and apps and software inventory, and all that stuff, that's, I'm not going to show you that because I have not the privilege on the organization to do that. But I'm going to show you something about what we see in case of traffic analytics, and especially where I think that the Meraki team, it's maybe not that they have done something new, but we have been used to saying, well, anybody, how many does know Cisco NBAR, network-based application? Wow, I would have expected all. Sorry. Which is kind of that you try to classify traffic. But what we're doing with NBAR and also a bit with application visibility from Cisco and with what Palo Alto Networks is doing, it's kind of like they predefine traffic classes. What Meraki does is that they look at the traffic and then they classify it dynamically. And I have a slide saying for those of you who are developers how they actually came up and how they do it, but I'm not going to go through it. also, Meraki is of course being integrated into Cisco ICE and Cisco Prime, which are Cisco Network Management solutions. How many know about Cisco ICE? A little more hands. And Cisco Prime, the same hands. So, okay, but this is not the important part. The important part is actually, well, I have one more, sorry. Meraki said, well, if we look at how we can see some pie charts, and then we have 10% web traffic, 10% mail traffic, and stuff like that, and then it might say 60% other. And Meraki tried to say, well, what can we do to enhance the 60% other or the 70% other, the long thin tail, and that's where they came up with this dynamically updating the list, which is what they are telling us how they do here. I'm not going to go through that. Instead, I'm going to switch to my demo. So you actually get a user account on the Meraki network, the cloud network, which is your email address, and then you get a password, or you can change the password, and you can log in, and then we check DKNOG5, and I would say DKNOG5. So then you get into a dashboard where you have monitor and you have configure and help. I will only go through some of the parts which are in the monitor, which is to say, try to see what are we seeing on the network. So one of the first things is we can see the access point we have mounted here, and actually if I go over to the right, I can get the markers to show how many clients are connected to it. I can get to show kind of, if I show the floor plan, then we can actually see, and we can also see here that we have now turned off the one of the 4 access points. So it's saying that there's 64 clients, but that is because it has seen 64 clients while it was operating. As you can see, you can put in floor plans as well. So that's on the overview. If I go to access points, we would actually be able to see, well, we have this access point which is down, so I'm not going to go into that one, but we can see also, if I click on a specific access point, we will be able to see what clients are actually associated with that particular access point. And I can go in. I will go into a specific client a little later, but because I will now go to the clients tab and say, well, we can see that at the moment we have 112 client devices connected to the network. And if one of the things I think Meraki is also proud of is that I can click on a specific user. If I say, well, this is strange, I don't want this to happen in my network, and then I can click on a specific user. I'm just going to take this MAC address here, and then I can say policy. Where did I say policy? Sorry. Was it actually? Sorry, was it back on the client page? Loading description. Show details. Oh, yeah, sorry. Device policy is then normal, and then I can say, well, I want to make this part of a new group policy, and I'm not going to go in and enable a new group policy, but I think that the DKNOG users is the one that our technical people who set it up has made, which all could be member of. So you can directly block what kind of access that you see here, which you think is not normal to the network. On the left here, it has a tab called Traffic Analytics, and I found out that if you just take the applications here and say Show Details, it will also take you to the actual Traffic Analytics. And then, sorry?
No, sorry. Just reading.
And then it will show you, I think, by default 15, and then I can say all here. So, and now not so fun anymore because you're not doing as much as you used to 5 hours ago. But then you can see what I would have liked to see here is that I can see specific destinations, which is this dynamic list which they make real time out on the access point. And then the access point is using some control channel to the cloud, and Meraki says it's using about 1 or 2 kilobits per second for the control channel to upload all this data to the cloud. So if I go in, we can also see, wow, we can also see on the, if I go on the clients tab, we can see here up that we, for the last week, which is not that very interesting, because it wasn't around a week ago, we can see what the traffic has been for the past day, and we can see that it seems like people are doing more in the early hours than in the late hours, which I think goes for many companies. And then I can also say for the past 2 hours what I've seen of traffic. It has for technical people like you, it has a nice feature. We can actually do capture directly. So you can say, well, I'm going to take all wireless traffic on all access points, and then I'm going to send it to this Cloud Shark, which is Wireshark as a cloud solution. And then I'm not going to say 30 seconds, but I'm going to say 3. Start capture. And then I can say view, and it opens the Cloud Shark, where you are then able to see where you have Wireshark output for the actual traffic. I think this could be useful for troubleshooting purposes. So, and I have also checked that it works with sending the traffic to your, if you have Wireshark installed on your computer which you're using for the management. So if I go back, Air Marshal is, I've heard some people talking about that they could have coming up with names. Air Marshal for kind of like, you know, the policeman who goes out and says, well, I can kick off rogue access point and I can kick off other access point if I see them. And we have seen 5 rogues. There's also this, we should note, which I found out, that I should tell you that now I'm standing here, it's like, were any of you at Cisco Live in Milan recently? And I think they had Meraki has what they call the Meraki challenge, where you can all go in, just, you know, Google Meraki challenge, and you can all go in and try to see how fast you can become kind of, you know, a little familiar with this dashboard. And then they had 2 kind of CXOs standing there and trying to answer 5 questions that this Meraki challenge poses. So what I saw myself is that if you go on the right here and click this plus sign, you can also, now I have actually enabled all the columns here, but then you can kind of, you know, you can differentiate what you want to see. And this, so I will just enable them all again. And if we want to say, well, let's see if we can find some, where's the hotel? Number of APs here. So, whoa. So now I can see all the 111 APs which, you know, this Meraki solution has seen that is not part of its own network. And then then you can, you know, hide it again. Location analytics is there. Yeah. So when we talk about this CMX, they kind of define that, well, a passersby is kind of like I'm walking by with a smartphone, but not spending any time in here in the location. And visitors is kind of, you know, staying, but not connecting, and connected, yes, gives itself. I don't know if it's a problem with the time, because it seems it hasn't seen anything. But if I then say, well, I want to do a custom range, and then I want to see what's happening today, then I should be able to. Sorry, why don't I see anything? Uwe, help me. Custom range. Oh, so 18 80, and so now here we can see what kind of what devices we have seen. And this is not only the devices that connect, but this is also smartphones and stuff like that walks by, which, because of this with the beacons, the solution is able to see whenever these devices send out beacons. And I saw a Mirage talking about, well, it seems to depend on if you're using iPhone or Android, and it seems to be depending on what applications is installed on the smartphone, and whether it's asleep or awake. And if it's turned on, it could be, as you can see, it's beacon as often as 15 to 20 times a minute. Yeah. The location heat map might be fun to watch for the past day. So here we can see the blue ones are the ones which are connected, and the gray ones are the ones which have not associated, but has been seen by. Is it running? Yeah, it's running. So now you can see for the past, is it 8 or 10 or 12 hours, I think. You can see the heat map for how many devices has been seen. But there is more about this and with regards to the CMX, but I can't show you this one. I'm only showing you kind of the basic stuff. And we have a summary report, which would be the last thing, where you can actually kind of see, well, what it generates a report on. Well, what have we seen by the name of clients, or by the name of operating systems and manufacturers and SSIDs. I think I should scroll down a bit. So we can actually see here that, well, for technical people, Mac is also. I'm stuck with this Windows machine, but so this would be the last thing I would want to say, and I don't think that I should accept any questions because all would like to further on. Or
will you be at the social?
Yes, my colleagues have told me that I should definitely be at the social, and so
all right.
I will need to call my boss and say, well, I'm not coming in tomorrow.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much.
Right here. Stand right.